Many leaders have the notion that it is lonely at the top, that leadership is a solo activity. But that's rubbish. Leaders who want to succeed must have and use effective support systems. There is nothing of any significance that anyone has accomplished by themselves. That goes doubly so for leaders. Having an effective support system is an imperative. Yet, so many leaders are reluctant to do so. In this video, we will find out why leaders need support, why they are reluctant to use support, and what we need to do to build and use effective support systems if we want to be successful as leaders. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Broom, CEO of the Center for Human Systems. I've helped executives, leaders, and their teams succeed for over 45 years now. Welcome to my leadership videos. Another common myth that goes along with the myth that leaders must lead alone is that they must also be paragons of virtue who have no weaknesses and therefore no need for a support system. Unfortunately, leaders are just human beings with human weaknesses like everyone else. Accordingly, many leaders resort to denying their weaknesses as they attempt to be true to the myth. The cost of such pretense is high. Here are 4 ways that's so. 1. Attempting to be what we are not is very stressful. 2. It supports some followers in seeing the leader as a dangerous authority figure around whom they must be cautious. 3. Many leaders see through the pretense with an intended loss of respect. 4. It's stressful for followers. Most followers prefer following a normal human being rather than someone pretending they are a paragon of virtue. As mentioned, a key reason leaders are reluctant to use support systems is that using one would be a sign of weakness to their followers and certainly to themselves. That follows a related socialization that says, if you're really okay, you can do it by yourself. And that those that need help are less than those that help. Most of us find it much easier and more acceptable to be helpful than to be helped. Still, all successful leaders have or have had successful support systems. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, or Bill Gates and Paul Allen, 2 pairs of famous leaders, did not build their megalithic companies alone. Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela led their countries to freedom, but they didn't do that by themselves. We hold such people up as individually potent and powerful with little acknowledgement of the huge support systems that surrounded them. The physically puny human race has come to dominate the planet only through our ability to support each other. Yet the intentional building of support systems by leaders is problematic anyway. When a new client leader tells me about the difficulties they are having, I always ask them, tell me about your support system. In return, I typically get a blank and puzzled look as if I'm speaking Greek. They had bought the Western notion that if you're really good enough, you can do it by yourself, and that there's no one at the top but the leader. The truth is that all leaders, like everyone else, do already have support systems in place, but many believers believe that they must succeed without any support whatsoever. But foolishness. Here's a short list of 5 reasons why leaders need support to be successful. 1. You don't know everything, and you don't need to know everything. With support, there's no need to pretend. 2. Often enough, we need to be challenged to look beyond the limits of our own mental frameworks. 3. The demands of leadership can be very stressful, and often we need help carrying the load. 4. Sometimes we actually doubt ourselves and need need someone to remind us of our strengths. And 5, sometimes we just need a shoulder to cry on. The importance of building and maintaining support systems just makes sense. Still, intentionally developing support systems seems to be something we want to avoid. Here are 3 challenges we have to our intentional use of support systems. The first is our cultural belief systems. Our society places a strong emphasis on individual freedom and strength, that you can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. We've been taught that if you're really good enough, you can do it by yourself, and for leaders, that it's lonely at the top. These beliefs restrict our willingness to ask for support. Individual effort, particularly in the world of organizations, is a primary focus and garners much more reward in teamwork than supporting others. Asking for support is nowhere on the recognition radar. More often than not, we seek growth and advancement independent of our teams and organizational units. We're taught that anything is possible, and if we just work hard enough, we will succeed. We're not taught that there are severe limits to how much we can do by ourselves. Nor are we taught that the best results come about through supporting others and being supported by others. It's easy to understand how we come by our aversion to seeking support. From grade school, the Western education system increasingly focuses on independent academic proficiency. High school and college years bring about an increasing demand for independent performance, where we are measured against the ability of our peers. This grading on a curve creates an atmosphere of competition and rivalry rather than support. In university classrooms, adversarial discussion and debate is commonplace and sanctioned, furthering the idea that success is through competition and individual achievement. As a consequence, we base our sense of self on our unique skills and capabilities. We're not taught that the path of success is through collaborative and supportive relationships. There are some cooperative educational environments, such as those based in the theories of educational reformers like John Dewey, Rudolf Steiner, and Horace Mann, that encourage building and using support systems. Still, that leaves most of us with meager support in the intentional use. That leaves most of us with meager training in the intentional use of support systems. Then there are our ego issues. They extend from our cultural obstacles, where many of us perceive seeking support or asking for help as signs of weakness, causing concern that others will perceive us negatively if we ask for help. The higher up the organizational ladder goes, or the greater one's claim to expertise, the more we're supposed to already know. It's only at the top is unknown. I've heard from many high-level clients. Managers at any level are often reluctant to admit to their people that they don't know everything they imagine they should know. We fear losing the myth of independence to which we have attached our self-esteem. We want to prove to ourselves and to others that we have the ability to place our mark on the world all by ourselves. And if we ask for support, we would document that we couldn't do it by ourselves. Anytime we seek support from this perspective, our self-esteem is vulnerable to our own self-derision. All of these things make asking for or accepting help in its offering difficult. Many leaders believe that doing so would reveal their vulnerabilities to others who might take advantage. Then we also have control issues. I once had a great idea about establishing a wisdom center where folks could come seeking wisdom, their own wisdom and that of the center staff. I shared this idea with Don Klein, my friend and mentor, who suggested that I put together a small group to help me think it through and implement it. I was appalled at such a suggestion, To put together such a group would mean having to deal with folks who'd mess with my idea, bend it into something I would hardly recognize. Then they would want to twist the implementation process I had in mind beyond recognition. In other words, I would lose control of my wonderful idea. Why in the world would I want to do that? Everything would be a lot easier if I did it by myself. Anyway, that's how my thinking was going. My great idea disappeared into the enormous maw of inaction where many great ideas wind up when we do not allow the support and energy of others. Despite cultural belief systems and ego issues, no leader will accomplish anything of any significance in life. Letting go of our control issues, we may lose control of a great idea and find out that loss will generate an even better idea that will bear fruit when massaged and synergized by the support of others. Alone, no great ideas are known. It's time to let go of the myth of individualism, the idea that it's lonely at the top where you're only okay if you do it by yourself. As mentioned earlier, you already have a support system of friends, colleagues, and followers available to you. Use them. Ask them for the advice you need. Ask them to challenge your thinking. Ask them for the emotional support you may desperately need. The key is that you have to ask, regardless of all the myths that we have gone through. This requires conscious use of self, including the awareness of needing help and our reluctance to ask, then choosing to ask for the support anyway. A great place to start is ask someone you can count on to pull your coattail when they see you not asking for support when you might definitely need it. Be a human leader. There's no need to be a paragon of strength, and the truth is you aren't anyway. Your followers will appreciate it, and you'll be a better and more successful leader for using your support system. See you in our next video, which will begin in a series about building agreements that work. Successful leaders need people to execute strategies and tactics if they accomplish their visions and goals. But too often, misunderstandings and miscommunications hamper effective execution. Building effective agreements can prevent those situations from happening. Be sure to check out these important videos. See you there.